Have you ever wondered about the brains behind the books that become award winners? Welcome to the Nautilus Book Award Spotlight on the Kanavos Show in partnership with Nautilus, Better Books for a Better World. We showcase winners in 34 categories from green living and sustainability to mind-body practices. The author tonight joins this prestigious rank with His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Deepak Chopra, Greg Braden, and Peter Kanavos. I'm Kathleen O'Keefe Kanavos, aka Kat, your host and fellow Nautilus Award winner.
Most of us walk through life relying on rational thinking and half-baked ideas as our guide. The Nautilus award-winning book, Body Intelligence, is a clear and refreshing book that will help you get out of the old rut of thinking only with your brain. Dr. Mayfield has cracked the code on the mysteries of how the body and mind, actually a body mind, function together. So congratulations on winning the Nautilus Book Award in Body, Mind, Spirit, Dr. John Mayfield, and welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you, Kat. That's really good to be on your show.
So hold up this fabulous book and let us see it. Oh, you know, when that came to me, and I took a look at it, I love the way the man is holding that heart with just that little smidgen of gold in it. It's a beautiful cover.
Oh, thank you.
So tell us how you found out that you had been a Nautilus Award winner, because you won the Silver Book Award. That is marvelous.
I got an email from Mary Belknap.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so excited. It was so exciting to win that award.
Yeah, you know, this is the type of award that the Dalai Lama won. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's nice to be in such high esteemed company.
Yes. So tell us, why did you feel that there was a need to actually write this book?
Well, I've been a chiropractor for 45 years, and I've studied hundreds of different health systems, diets, healing modalities, and there is a lot of noise out there, a wealth of information and a poverty of really true methods that will actually heal you. And so so many people are waking up now. And as they're waking up to more of their total consciousness. Mm-hmm. And they really need something, you know, like a user's manual that teaches them how to use their higher consciousness. And so what I found when I discovered the 5 elements, when I got turned on to the 5 elements, it was like coming home. It was the most incredible system. It embraces all of your eccentricities, and it explains how your spirit and soul interface with your body, and you actually have a body mind where each organ is a governor of consciousness and your heart is the emperor. Your brain's really only in charge when you're spiritually asleep, which sadly that's most of the people right now, but that's changing. More people are waking up every day. And that's really one of the main reasons why I wrote this book, because as people wake up, they really need a user's manual. So that's basically what this book is.
I love those ideas, because, you know, I'm all about dreams and waking up to your dreams and using your dreams to actually diagnose your life. So with your body mind concept, I mean, it's just a perfect fit. So you alluded to the fact that there are so many books out there now with all this information and all this noise on the internet. How is your book different from all these books? What makes your book stand out besides the fact that you're a Nautilus Book Award winner? And they are not.
The 5 elements is really an ancient system, but it's new to most of us. The system is 5,000 years old, and it's been updated by all of the different Chinese dynasties. but it's really new to most of us. And Professor Worsley, the guy who started the Worsley School of Acupuncture and Homeopathy in London, he introduced the concept of the 5 elements to the entire world outside of Asia. And when I got out of school, everybody thought your brain was in charge of your consciousness. And then I started going to seminars where you were explained that the different organs were parts of your total consciousness. And then one of my friends said, look at this. And he showed me a book on the 5 elements. And when I saw that, the 5 elements embrace all of your idiosyncrasies. And so with your heart in charge, the 5 elements are wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. And wood is represented by your liver gallbladder. And that's all your hopes and dreams and goals and plans and ideals. And it's also how you develop your will forces, your willpower, and your sense of purpose. And then fire is your heart. And it wants to love everything and everyone. And every cell in your body is completely dependent on your heart for unconditional love and warmth and guidance. And also all of your relationships and your plans and dreams, even your pets. Without that unconditional love, nothing flourishes. Nothing reaches its potential. And so it's kind of like having an apple tree that should have 300 or 400 juicy, red, delicious apples, and it only can grow 15 or 20 paltry looking apples in a season. But when the unconditional love of your heart is there, then you have the potential. And then earth is like is represented by your pancreas, stomach, and your spleen. And so the pancreas is how you get the sweetness out of life. The stomach is how you ripen food. And you don't just eat food. So it ripens your relationships, your plans, your dreams, your beliefs, your values. And then the spleen is how you develop clear boundaries, how you know when is enough. And in the Jungian archetypes of warrior, lover, magician, queen, or king, the heart and the heart protector is a lover, and it wants to love everybody, but you need a strong warrior to balance it. And so the spleen is the warrior, and it makes sure that it's about being impeccable, about you not trampling over anyone else's sacred garden, as well as not letting them trample over yours. And so the warrior really doesn't care whether you want a poem or a fight. It just defines your boundaries. That's your stuff. This is my stuff. And then the element of metal is your lung, large intestine. And that's the vertical axis of the cross that predates Christianity. And your lungs breathe in the higher truths. It breathes in all of the God force, not just oxygen. And it breathes in the courage for you to meet and exceed your challenges, so that when you embark on the hero's journey, you have the courage to pull it off. And then water is like wintertime. That's represented by your kidneys and your bladder. And emotional energy is most like the energy of your spirit. So when you feel your feelings, and when you become more aware of your feelings, then you tap into the wisdom of your spirit. And so when I was in school, we learned that each kidney has somewhere between 15,000 and 25,000 filtration units called glomeruli that filter 20% of your blood per hour. And the glomeruli are completely lined with gray matter, which just happens to be the thinking portion of your brain. And in the 60s, thinking that your brain wasn't in charge of your consciousness was such a heretical thought that no scientifically minded person would consider it. And so the professors couldn't answer our questions about how the kidney has to be some kind of a brain. And so when I got in touch with the 5 elements, then you could see that your spirit is not defined by time or space. To your spirit, everything is here and now. And so if someone invites you to a function 2 weeks from now, your spirit is instantly standing there 2 weeks from now, experiencing that function. And your first feeling is your exact preview of how you'll feel if you go to that function. You meet somebody new, and your spirit is taking in the full measure of that woman or man. And your first impression is is your spirit's take on that person. So ignore your first feelings at your peril. And so before every good thing ever happened to you, you got a good feeling ahead of time. And that was your spirit saying, yeah, go for it. And before every bad thing ever happened to you, you got a bad feeling about it. Now, if you're not paying attention, chances are you went and did it anyway. And when it went wrong, you went, oh, I know it's going to go wrong. And so your intuition is developed in your kidneys, and imagination in your stomach, because your stomach ripens things, like ripens plans, by seeing them as if they exist and playing in it. And as you play in it, your entire body mind gets to participate. Your heart develops insights into how to make it more loving and gracious. Your liver gallbladder draws the plans and makes all the decisions. And, the lungs breathe in the courage and energy to pull it off. And all of your body mind gets to participate. So when your heart's in charge, your thinking is a quantum boost beyond anything that you have when just your brain's in charge. The brain is really just a prediction machine. It's your lower mind, where your kidneys are actually your higher mind. And the brain is always trying to predict the future based on the past. Mm-hmm. And so what it does is it drags these heavy chains from the past of all of your missed opportunities and guilt and shame. And it's always dragging those chains. And so when it looks at the future, it projects all of your fears and worries and anxieties. And it's always dragging these chains from the past in prediction of the future. And so your brain, it can't extricate itself from the prison of its own makings. It's completely dualistic, completely linear. It doesn't live in the present moment ever, because it's more than a little afraid of the present moment. It always retreats to this past future construct where it knows the rules. Mm-hmm. Because how can you predict the infinity of the present moment? Now
it's what's interesting is you're taking a lot of what a lot of people are studying right now at a lot of the health institutes and also holistic institutes, where you're taking gut instincts, astral travel. In other words, when somebody says, well, do you want to go to that party that's down there at wherever? And then you instantly project yourself there and take a look at it. And yet your spirit does. And so what you're doing is you're grounding what a lot of people are calling the woo-woo, which it's not. And you're saying this is actually something that we're born with, and we have chosen not to use it. And so what you're doing is bringing all this out and re-offering it and saying, look, this is something that can help your life, save your life, change your life, by going with gut instincts. You're talking about your stomach and thinking using your body organs rather than just your brain. I love your concept.
Right. Well, you have two consciousness operating systems, heart and brain. And all through history, we've always lived in the brain. And that's why we have so many wars and famines and all of them. The Buddha figured out 2,600 years ago that dualistic thinking, which is what the brain does, is the cause of all pain and suffering. He called it the realm of all unsatisfactoriness. And then Jesus, 500 years later, said the mind was enmity against God, the enemy of God. And so your heart just innately knows, like it's hardwired to know what your spirit and soul are about. And so when you follow your heart, you wind up getting the work. You create your own world. We're creators. That's what our base is. Everyone, whether they're black or white or male or female or skinny or fat or artistic or athletic, we are all creators. And we create our own world. And no one lives in the same world with another living being. And so when your heart is creating the world, you wind up creating this loving kingdom. And every year, everything gets better and better and better. And peace of mind is just natural outflowing of all of that.
And it's so sought after. Everybody is looking for peace of mind because they're so wrapped up in their head that they can't get out of their head to get the peace of mind. You know, it's so easy to talk ourselves out of what's good for us. We get this gut instinct. You know, yes, I really need to go to that party. Maybe there's somebody at the party that we should meet to help us further ourselves along our purpose in life. But we talk ourselves out of it when we stay in our mind and listen to all that mind chatter. Oh, well, you know, we've been a little tired and we'd rather stay home and watch the TV. And, you know, you can talk yourself out of what you need to do so easily. And that's where getting out of your head is so important.
Well, it's so easy to fall into your brain operating system, because there's 7 billion people on the planet, and 95% of them are still asleep. And when you're asleep, according to PET scans, you generate 60,000 thought forms a day, all based on the past and future, all based on fear and guilt. And this creates like a tide, like a river of time. And it's so seductive. We get swept into it dozens of times a day. And so there are 7 habits that each one brings you out of that and back to your heart being in charge. So breathe out strong, stand tall, feel your feelings, trust your gut, be decisive, shake all your injuries off like a cat, walk away like that never happened, whether it's physical or emotional or mental or spiritual, and be decisive. Because there's a triangle that you stand upon of being truthful, loving, and decisive. And if you keep all 3 of those points in a nice state of balance, your life works great. I mean, just every year your life works better and better and better. And cherishing is the 7th habit. You want to cherish everyone, which means you got to do trainloads of forgiveness. And all forgiveness is just feeling your feelings. So if somebody makes you angry, there's a wall between you, because I'm angry at him. And so if you feel that anger, it just dissolves, and it's like the Berlin Wall just crumbles. And so forgiveness is so simple. And when
it's so powerful too.
So powerful. And when I do something boneheaded, which, 4 or 5 times.
Oh, not you. Let's bring your wife on for that one.
Right. When I do something that I regret, I'll go back to that moment and feel the feeling, and go back to that moment and feel the next feeling, go back to it and feel the next feeling. And usually any painful event has about 7 emotions in it. And so whether it's something that you did stupid or whether somebody hurtful did something to you, and you just keep going back to that and feeling the next feeling until you go back and all you feel is joy or happiness. And then you've completely wiped that link of the chain out. And it doesn't replicate anymore.
That's a beautiful thought, because, taking it to what you do as a chiropractor, when you walk around holding in anger, your shoulders go up and your back goes out. That's why so many people, have back problems. Whereas letting go, when you let go, your shoulders drop and you breathe. And the breath of life is so important. And you were alluding to the fact that, you can't make a decision. One of the first things you need to do is breathe. When you're frightened, I know that when I'm frightened, or if I'm really angry, or let's say I'm not sure about something, I find that I'm not breathing right. I need to take a step back and take a deep breath, and suddenly you're pulling all of that energy not into your brain, because your brain doesn't breathe. You're bringing it into your body, and you're feeding all of your organs, and boom, stuff just starts falling into place. Breath is so important. So, we're getting close to the end of it. I mean, I can't believe how quickly this time went. But can you give our audience where they can go to find your book? Will you share that with them? I've got somebody that brought something into chat, so I'm going to see if I can check that out.
My book is on Amazon, Kindle, Sony Reader, Apple. So you can get it in all of those different formats. It's Kindle. And
Okay, great.
I'm going to say one more thing about breathing. Breathing is the first law of posture. It's also the first law of spiritual awareness. Mm-hmm. And every time that you breathe or stand up straight or feel your feeling, you wake up from a spell. And how you handle yourself replaces that old unconscious spell with a more empowered one. And when I learned about breathing, at the end of the first year, I'd been breathing for about 9 months. My energy level had just about doubled. But what really amazed me was that my self-esteem more than doubled. And I made breathing be my discipline for the next 4 years. And each year, I really increased my energy level. I really increased my self-esteem. And when I learned about posture, it was the same thing. Every time I would slump and stand up straight, I'd wake up from a spell. Mm. And so all of these habits, they all do the same thing. Each time they wake you up, you replace another unconscious program. And so you just naturally evolve spiritually. Every year you become more your true self.
Well, thank you so much for spending this time with us, Dr. John Mayfield. And the two people in chat, one of them wanted to know, they were afraid I wasn't going to give you the opportunity to tell them where they could find your book. And the other one wanted you to know that they've really enjoyed listening to you. So thank you so much for being on the show with us today. Again, congratulations for being a Nautilus award-winning author. And Dr. Mayfield, again, he won the Nautilus Book Award in Body, Mind, Spirit. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, Kat.
Thanks to all of you for joining us on the Nautilus Book Award Spotlight. This show is archived and can be downloaded from the Kat Kanavos Show Facebook page and the Kat Kanavos Show website, different from my public Facebook page, Kathleen O'Keefe Kanavos, and website by the same name, and will be posted on nautilusbookawards.com, the Nautilus website. Until next time, read a good book.